Everyone, hi. Welcome back to I Saw Him First podcast. Oh, it's good to be back. If you want to know why I've been away, go to my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm now on YouTube. This podcast is now on YouTube. The YouTube channel was called Her Adulting. So that's HERDULTING. And you will see why I have been away. But I'm back, and this time I promise. I don't know if I should make a promise, but I promise to be more consistent. I really, really, really enjoy doing this. So I want to keep doing it, and I want to keep, uploading every single Monday. I think I've chosen Monday now. Anyway, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. And if you like this podcast, don't forget to like on Spotify, like on, I don't know if you can like on Apple, like on YouTube. Share on your story, follow on Instagram at I Saw Him First podcast. And again, I don't know if people know this, but you can send me dilemmas if you want me to answer any relationship dilemmas. I'm not an expert, but I've got some experience in that area. Let's get started. Let's get this episode started. Before we start, I know what you guys are thinking. I look really nice. I do. If I say so myself, I do. I'm making an effort today. I'm not always going to be this, what do they call it? Baked up. I do have quite a lot of makeup on today. And I just wanted to do something cute for the camera. Anyway, let's do this. Today I'm going to be talking about Love is Blind. So if you haven't seen the second season of Love is Blind, maybe not listen to this episode, because I'm not going to be like, this is not a Love is Blind season 2 recap. I want to talk about the idea that love is blind. They say on the, Love is Blind, they say on the series, is love truly blind? I want to talk about that. So I'm going to make some references to the new season. Obviously, I've not actually finished watching it, so it's not that much of a spoiler alert. So anyway, let's get started before I keep rambling on and on and on. Right, is love blind? If anyone hasn't watched even the first season of Love is Blind, or if you don't intend to watch Love is Blind, I'm going to give you a quick summary, right? So the idea is that people can connect without seeing each other physically. You can connect on other levels, like they say, on emotional levels, psychological levels. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Because when you think about, building a relationship with someone, you want all the elements of it, but let's not act like looks looks are not important. And that's basically the essence of this show. It's saying, is love truly blind, or will physical characteristics, will physical things, the physical element of falling in love with someone, will that play a bigger role in love than the emotional connection and all of that? So they put the men separately in a different house, and then they put the women separately in a different house. And what happens is they meet in a pod. So they don't see each other. It's like this little box, they call it a pod. And they can hear each other from the opposite side, but they can't see each other. And the goal here is to connect, basically talk to each other, tell them about themselves. So for instance, let me just make it look more real. So let's say I'm in a pod right now. This is my little pod. And then there's a wall blocking me and the guy I'm talking to. And he's in his own little pod, and he can't see me, but we can hear each other. And then I go, hi, I'm Tyler. And then he goes, hi, I'm Sean. I'm Sean Mendes. I wish. And it's like, yeah, so how old are you? So basically, you're not supposed to ask questions that make them think about what your physical features would look like. It's supposed to be everything else but that. So I can be like, how old are you? Where do you work? What do you do for fun? What's your family like? What are your goals? What's your view on religion and kids, on all of that? And Basically, people fall in love in 2 days based on that alone, just talking to the guy. And this is not even a gender thing. The guys as well fall in love with the girls just talking to them. And I know they always say that you don't know until you experience it, yeah. But I'm not buying it. I'm really not buying it, especially after. So there's 10 days, in the pods, and then within 10 days, you're supposed to propose to someone. And then the people who do like propose and the other person accepts the proposal, then they get to see the person physically after how many days you've spoken for before the proposal. And sometimes like you can just tell when they like see the person, like, I mean, most times you pretend, yeah, because you don't want them to see on your face. You don't want them to see your expression and go, "Oh my god, he doesn't fancy me like physically." But a lot of the times you can see it. You can see that people are disappointed. You can feel the energy, and there's people that try so hard to like deny it, yeah, to deny that no, I like this person. I'm in love with them. Yeah, but do you like them? I feel like there's a difference between, oh, I'm in love with them and I like them. Yeah, do you like them? Do you like their looks? Because again, people will say, it's the beauty on the inside, but like that's not what you see when you meet someone initially. A lot of the time, you look at someone's face or hair or eyes or clothes, or just the look in general is what you see and go, oh, that's what draws your attention initially. So for me, I just could never do something like that, because for me, looks are important. I remember having a conversation with my sister, my brother, and my brother's housemate, and she's a girl, and she was like, they thought I was being mean. They thought I was being mean when I was saying, it's usually, oh God, I don't know if I should say this on the internet. I was basically like, it's usually ugly people that say looks don't really matter. Oh, I said it. Come for me. But I'm not saying like, I'm not saying you have to be a 10. Like, I'm not a 10. I'm not gonna, I mean, I'm a 10. Who are we kidding? I'm a 10. But I'm not like going after like the guy with like the six pack or like huge muscles. But I want my man to be attractive. Like, so I don't understand, not that I don't understand, I find it annoying when people try and dismiss how important looks are, or try and say, oh no, that's not what really matters. That's a big lie, because if you've seen Love is Blind, what usually happens is people then see, so for instance, they say if Sean proposed to me, right, without seeing me, and then he sees me in real life, and then he doesn't really find me like physically attractive, but there's someone else that he was talking to, because you get to talk to multiple people. I think it's about 14 people you get to talk to. So 1 out of 14, right, he picks me, and then say another girl that he fancied, whilst talking to them in the pod, he basically didn't pick them, because most of the time there's two people that are top of your list, right? There's usually one person you're trying to pick out two most of the time, sometimes three. That happens. But say Sean picked me, yeah, but there's this other girl that he likes, that he kind of like, maybe she didn't make the cut, he picked me instead, and then he meets me and doesn't fancy me like physically, right? Eventually everyone gets to meet each other. So eventually the people who proposed, the people who didn't propose, they all get to meet each other, right? And say the girl that Sean left for me is like more physically attractive, or he finds her more physically attractive. What usually happens, and what we've seen on the show multiple times, is that Sean starts to look the other direction. Sure, me and Sean have built an emotional connection. We've said we love each other after like 2 days, and he's proposed to me. But what usually tends to happen is that that's not enough. They're usually not satisfied, and they always, okay, not always, most times they get distracted by the physical, element, and they start looking at the other person that they missed out on. So my point of this is like, love, you can't, after all of that, you can't say love is blind. They're the anomaly. So last year we got Lauren and Cameron, who are still together now. I think it's been 2-3 years. And there's another couple that have stayed together. But I think they're the exceptions to the rule. You know, they're not the rule. That's not the normal. You know, I actually do not think love is blind. Like, I couldn't, I could not pick someone to marry without like seeing them, because I don't want to be mean, but like, you know, sometimes, yeah, even when people are cute, right? I think I've said this before. Even when people are cute, when they annoy you, they become ugly. Like, they become really annoying. When you're fighting with someone and they're just like, ugh, you just look at them and they're just ugly to you. Okay, what if they're now already ugly?
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
They're already ugly and then they annoy you. And you're just like, yeah, like, I didn't even like you before. Like, you're not even that cute. How dare you? How dare you, do it like that? And that's just how I feel. I feel like, even at least be cute, because if you're, again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not I'm not saying I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. There's people that would see me and would not find me attractive. But what I'm saying is, I'm not buying it. It's just absolute bull. Okay, to say looks don't matter. Yeah, there's people that don't really care. Like, I actually think I'm one of the people, as much as people would not agree with this, I'm someone that, like, only finds people more attractive. Like, okay, sure, I look at you and I like what you look like, but when I actually connect with you and talk to you and find other parts of you like attractive, that's when you look even more beautiful to me. So I'm not completely 100% superficial. I'm not saying all the ugly people don't deserve love. I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's 100%. That's a statement I will back up, because I know there's people that I find attractive that other people like. Even people that I've dated, I show the pictures to my friends and they're like, no, they don't like them. So at the end of the day, it goes the same way for me. Someone could find me attractive, the next person could not. So I'm not trying to say, oh, ugly people should not date. That's not what I'm trying to say. And again, what is ugly people? I could be ugly to you. Shawn Mendes could be ugly to other people. There's people that always tell me, what do you even see in Shawn Mendes? Do you get what I mean? But I think he's a really beautiful man. I think Shawn Mendes is a really beautiful man. But there's other people that would say, it's not all that. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that, ugly people go to hell. No, I'm just saying that you cannot, like, there's no way, even if the physical is like 1/3, right, of the full package, it's still a huge chunk that could be missing from any connection. I've not finished watching season 2, like I just said, but we see that in Shakes and Deep. So they're the couple that actually had a huge, like, difference in how they felt before and after the connection in the pod. Funny, actually, they're both Indian, but they've both never dated Indian people. They've both only dated white people. So I just saw it coming. I remember I was watching it with my sister, and I remember saying that this guy will not find her attractive, and did not find her attractive even when they met. I knew it. I just knew it. Like, a lot of people have a type, and there's a reason for that. Is reason for it, I'm not even going to get into. It's quite disgusting, but I just knew that he wouldn't find her attractive physically when they met, and eventually he had to admit that. At first, he was like he was lying. He was literally lying to himself and to her about how, he likes her. He was like grabbing her butt or wherever. Not gonna get into that. But eventually he had to come clean and actually told her that he doesn't find her physically attractive, and told his mom, he told everybody basically, but is trying to not let that like destroy the relationship. And I was just like, there's no salvaging this, like, because you're going to be forever unhappy. That's just how I feel. You're never going to be content, because you're always going to think, I sacrificed a huge portion of something that's important to me, which is looks. It seems like a very superficial guy. So he's saying, all the girls that have had all these physical things he likes, I've not had the other parts that, is found with Deeps. But the physical is missing from Deeps. So at the end of the day, Deeps is just as important, or should I say, as irrelevant as the other girls you've like gone out with and broken up with. Does that make sense? Like, he's trying to say Deeps is more important because, you know, she has all these other elements that he loves except the physical, whereas the other girls who had the physical didn't have all the other elements. They're both on the same wavelength with me. They're both not your match. They're both not a match, in my opinion. He's trying to hold on to Deeps because she has all these other things. But I'm like, but something is missing. With just as with the other girls, something is missing. So at the end of the day, I say this to say that let's not kid ourselves and say that love is blind. Love is not blind. I think yes, the physical is not everything, and it's like you can look at it from two ways. You know, there's people that, again, a lot of people have said, you know, when I met this guy, I didn't like him physically, but then we connected, we whatever became friends, you know, they fell in love, and then they found them more attractive. Do you get what I mean? So that could happen, and that actually shows you that the emotional connection is very strong. But I don't think that always happens, and I don't think it's smart or reasonable to rely on just emotional connection for the survival of a relationship. I think that's like wrong. You know, I think it's wrong to just solely say, oh, we've connected mentally, we've connected emotionally, we bonded in this other layers, and so we will have, you know, a long happy relationship. That's not true, because the physical is a huge portion of it. And don't get me started on trauma bonding, which I'm not going to get into in this episode. Maybe I'll do a whole episode on trauma bonding. If you want me to do an episode on trauma bonding, if you don't know what that is at all, comment in this, you know, YouTube comment. And yeah, let me know. I'm actually going to put on Spotify a question like box thing where you can reply. Yeah, tell me if you want me to do an episode on trauma bonding, because I actually personally think that a lot of the people in the pods on Love is Blind are bonding on trauma. They're not bonding on an emotional connection or like some higher level connection. I think they're trauma bonding, and because of that they think they've known this person for their whole life, and so they're in love with this person because they feel like they can tell them anything. No, that's what you tell your therapist. That's not, like, for me, that's not love. It's not like, you can't just say, oh, because I've told him all of my issues and like my flaws, and you know, we've bonded on, you know, we both grew up like this, we both grew up poor, for instance, or we both were like we both had bad upbringing, so like our parents were both divorced and we felt this way when we were kids, we both felt lonely, so we bonded on that, and because of that you think you built a strong connection. No, you've just trauma bonded with this person, and because of that you feel more emotionally connected to them. But again, that's another talk for another day. To round this up, no, love is not blind. Love is not truly blind. Love can be blind on occasion. Okay? It's the exception to the rule. And that's the end of this episode. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'm going to leave you guys to think about that. And go and watch Love is Blind on Netflix if you haven't. I think it's a good watch. I really enjoyed watching it. There are parts that are pretty annoying, but all in all, I think it's a fun show to watch. And yeah, I've really enjoyed talking about this. So if you like this episode as well, don't forget to like on YouTube, rate on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and share with your friends. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.